everyone. This is the Team Together group. We are discussing about the barriers and the effective solutions on the barriers to learning concerning the universal design for learning. But first of all, universal design for learning is an education framework developed to make teaching and learning accessible and effective for all learners regardless of their abilities, the disabilities, and the learning style. However much the universal design for learning was brought up to make learning accessible to all the students irrespective of whether they have disability or not. We have seen it to still be having some barriers, and these barriers I'll give my colleagues to talk about it.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for being in this group. I want to thank you so much for being active. I'm going to talk about the barriers to education in universal design for learning. When I talk of barriers, it's like the challenges that the students always encounter, especially the blind students. They always encounter some challenges, and these challenges I'm going to talk about some few challenges, but however, it's relevant. Like the first one is the presentation barriers. When I talk of the presentation barriers, this may be like the difficulties in understanding complex language. When I talk of complex language, maybe like the jargons. And what I know about the jargons is like it seems like sometimes the students cannot understand the language very well and they cannot analyze it with their own knowledge. So I'm going to continue also with insufficient visual or auditory support. You find like when like a teacher maybe is teaching, the student maybe is having problems, so maybe the eye is having the problem. The student is cannot what cannot be able to see like other the way other students can see very well, especially when during learning when the learning is in the process. So and then also the next point is engagement barriers. Under engagement barriers, you find like lack of relevance or meaning in the learning material. Find like the person cannot interpret what is in the learning material. However, if a person is being helped, like maybe like providing some appropriate solutions, and also I'm going to invite my friend to talk about those solutions that can be addressed to help them to address to those barriers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity granted. I will take you through the solutions to these barriers that my colleague has just presented. Uh, Here are some of the ways we can solve these barriers. The first one is, as a teacher, you should use clear language that can be easily understood by the learners. For example, you cannot go to a classroom setting and you start using Kiswahili in the class. Meanwhile, some of them they don't understand. The second point is provision of diverse learning materials. These materials include the textbooks, the electronic devices like the computers to help them in making researches, um, multimedia, and the contents. When I talk about the contents, I mean what the teacher is going to pass out to the learners to make sure they understand very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the time. And to me, I'm going to add some points on the solutions to the universal design language. And another point under this is multiple means of engagement. Like, for example, fostering a sense of community. In the process of studying or in the process of learning, we can foster a sense of community, like encouraging collaboration, group discussion, self scenarios, so which makes students or learners to understand very well the content that is being passed out by the teacher. And another point is make learning relevant and what and meaningful. connecting your real life scenarios. That's how I've talked about it. They also provide feedback and what and support. So using universal design learning in the education or learning process, it helps to provide feedback and support through offering regular feedback, guidance, and support to promote student motivation and engagement. And another point is the solution to the Uganda design learning, universal design learning. I mean, another point, the solution under it is implementing the universal design learning itself in Uganda, and this way helps training teachers and professionals development by providing educators with knowledge or more training and resources to implement the universal design learning in the learning process. So, and another thing is accessible learning environment. Ensures that school environment is conducive for learning to take place physically, digitally, which is accessible to all students. And that's how we shall end today's discussion.
How about,
Thank
are we
you
not
for
going to talk about like
learning. But in higher institutions, they have this much. But in like secondary schools,
use of text?